but he decided to stick with me anyway. He's fixing to pay. Coach Kilmer grew up in Clovis, New Mexico, and graduated from Clovis High School. He attended West Texas State University on a golf scholarship and graduated from West Texas State in 1974. Now, Coach Kilmer's two closest friends, Coach Dixon and Coach Scroggins, never passed up an opportunity to remind Coach Kilmer that he was a sissy golfer in high school. With Coach Kilmer and Coach Scroggins and Eddie, they formed what we commonly referred to as the Wit Brothers in Clovis, New Mexico. Dimwit, half-wit, and nitwit. Now, Eddie's first job was at Alamogordo, New Mexico, and he went there in 1974 when he graduated, stayed there 1 year. I didn't realize Coach Kilmer was so popular in Alamogordo till we went down there and played in 1980, and he was working for us in Clovis, and we're walking out before the game, and there's a bunch of people yelling at him, and Coach Dixon says, "Hey, Coach Roanhaus, all these people think Eddie's number one." And I said, "Yep, you would notice that." But in 1976, Eddie came to Clovis, New Mexico, where he was going to stay until 1999. And he came to work at Marshall Junior High. I became very familiar with him. And in 1979, Eddie moved up to the high school staff. Eddie spent 25 years in Clovis on our staff, and his accomplishments in Clovis were many. He is a very important part of 8 state championship teams, 5 runner-up teams. He became our defense coordinator in 1991 and retired in New Mexico and went to Texas in 1999. Now, talking about his accomplishments at Clovis, Eddie had a real good mentor in his formative years, a man named Darrell Bodie, and he's in our Coaches Hall of Honor also. And he learned a lot of what he taught our kids and knew from Coach Bodie. And many of you in this room know who Coach Bodie is. Anyway, when Coach Bodie left to go to Texas, Eddie stepped into coaching our linebackers and didn't miss a beat. During Eddie's time there in Clovis, he coached our sophomore team, our JV team, our varsity team. One of his duties that he handled for me was scouting, and if we needed to flip back then for a home and away game, Eddie took care of that for me. So I made him practice all week one week when we were playing in the semifinals, I think Del Norte and Albuquerque, and if we won the ball game, we got to play at home the next week if he won the flip. So I made him practice all week. Anyway, he went to Roswell to scout the game, and we managed to win. And kind of to make a long story short, Eddie called Tails Never Fails after the game and won the flip from Coach Jim Bradley. And Coach Bradley, like the Alamo fans, Coach Bradley thought he was number one too. That's a true story. Now, Eddie was an outstanding coach and a good friend, and I personally was sad, and a lot of our kids were sad when Coach Kilmer left and went to Texas in 1999. During the 90s, he also had received an Assistant Coach of the Year award that we presented here just a second ago. Wait a minute. I numbered these cards so I wouldn't get them messed up. Coach Bradley gave me that. He told me, "Number America or you'll mess it up." But anyway, perhaps Eddie's biggest accomplishment while he was in Clovis was persuading the former Leslie Romero to marry him. As many of you know and have met Leslie, to put it in terms coaches understand, the boy outkicked his coverage pretty good. Now, his marriage was a typical marriage, for better or worse. And most people in Clovis agreed that Eddie couldn't have done much better, and people in Santa Fe agreed that Leslie couldn't have done much worse. Now, now, the two greatest things that came out of this particular union were their two kids, Kevin and Kylie. Kevin is 24. He's been a student assistant at Texas Tech for 4 years. This coming year, he's going to be a graduate assistant coach, doing an outstanding job there. And his daughter, Kylie, she's 20, going on 35, Eddie says. And she works there in the football department. Now, besides football, Eddie was very active in the sport of golf. As I mentioned a while ago, he was a college golfer. From 1981 to 1999, he coached both our boys and our girls' golf teams at Clovis High School. In 92 and 93, they won state championships. And he had won several district championships during his span there. When he returned to New Mexico, to Alamogordo in 2006 or 7, he coached the girls' team there that was state runner-up twice. So he had a lot of accomplishments, not just in the football area, but in the golf area also. To me, the most impressive accomplishment of his as far as golf went was that in 2009 he got the level 4 milestone ring, which is a level that a lot of coaches seek. He is the only golf coach in the state to have ever received a milestone ring for golf, and I think that's a great tribute to his ability in that area, because you got to stack up a lot of points in golf to get that award. Now, Eddie left Clovis in '99, like I said, and went a few miles east, 30 miles to the thriving metropolis of Muleshoe, Texas, as their defense coordinator. And he stayed there 2 years. They were 24-3 over 2 years and got to the semifinals in the state of Texas, which is quite a impressive accomplishment. And if you know anything about the number of teams they have in Texas. In 2002, he left there and went to North Crowley, which is a school in Fort Worth, and worked there 1 year. But because Eddie so much missed the dust and the wind and the dirt in West Texas and eastern New Mexico, he returned to the Lubbock area to coach at Slayton High School. He called me and asked me about this decision. Slayton High School at the time had the longest losing streak in their football program. 33 games the school had lost. And certainly Eddie said, hey, I can't do any worse than that. I said, no, it's impossible to do any worse than 0-33. But he went to Slayton, Texas as a head football coach and athletic director. During his time there, 5 years, they turned it around. They won a district championship. They went to the playoffs. And when he left there to go to Alamogordo 4 years ago, they had that program back on the upswing. I'm glad to say that it's back on the downswing again. You know, that's what we refer to in this business as turning a program around. And you can't, a program that's 0-33, and then if 3 or 4 years later you win a district championship and go to the playoffs, you really turn something around. Now, Eddie returned to Alamogordo, and you know, when he returned, I asked him if any of those same fans were still in the stands there at Alamogordo. He said he didn't know. But he worked for Coach Standifer at Alamogordo, and it's a funny situation because Coach Standifer had played for Eddie at Clovis in the 80s, and he served on our board of directors while at Alamogordo, and he also coached the girls' golf team, which I mentioned a minute ago. Now, Coach Kilmer's coached 35, 36 years, and he's done a lot of coaching and teaching, and I don't think you can be a good coach if you're not a good teacher, and there's a lot of people that will agree with that sitting in this room today. Eddie has had a very positive effect on all the coaches he worked with, and undoubtedly has a tremendous influence on all the young men he coached. Eddie loves kids, and the kids love Eddie. Eddie coached both my sons, and I was certainly glad that he had that opportunity to do that, because I didn't want to coach him, so I made him coach him. I'm proud to call Coach Kilmer my friend, and I love him just like a brother. Coach Kilmer come up here, and they'll take a picture of you and all that stuff. Let's welcome Coach Kilmer into our New Mexico High School Coaches Hall of Honor.